What's up, guys? It's Lollylord, and welcome back to another reaction. FNAF has hit us with another theory video. I saw FNAF Security reach ruin. Welcome to the circus. He changed the thumbnail this morning. I don't know why. I like the other one, but this one's cool too. I'm gonna take this time to quickly plug my channel. I recently made a theory about Helpy and if he could be evil, because he could be. And I talk about how he could be evil, if he could be good, if he could be something else. Go check the video out. It's only like 7.5 minutes. Other than that, I am working on 2 theories right now that I wish to get out sometime soon. One of them is about the mimic and the ending and what's to do with him, and another one is about the true ending or endings to a security breach that leads to ruin. So I think that you should turn on notifications and subscribe to see when those go up. But yeah, I'm done. Let's react to this. It's 17 minutes. No more time being wasted.
2 weeks ago, I went live on my YouTube channel to play Ruin and see if I could find any new Easter eggs. And during my search for Easter eggs, Scott Cawthon himself joined my stream, and I got to give him a sneak
What the
peek
hell
of
is this? Wait, hold on. I've never seen this. Enhanced bitrate. Why is that a thing on YouTube?
2 weeks ago, I went live on my YouTube channel to play Ruin and see if I could find any new Easter eggs. And during my search for Easter eggs, Scott Cawthon himself joined my stream.
Yeah, he
and
did.
I got to give him a sneak peek of the theory I'm gonna share with you today. This was his reaction. It is a very interesting theory. I know it is, Scott. Obviously, he can't confirm or deny anything, but it was really cool to see him in my stream.
Yeah,
this
that's
theory
so cool.
is one of my most ambitious, and I'm super excited to share it with you. All I ask is that you keep an open mind and remember this is just a theory.
I'm keeping in mind of that. I'm very I'm waiting for this theory to blow my mind. So
one of the things I love
see
to
what's
do
gonna
when
happen.
making FNAF theories is look for the little details that help solve the greater story. I feel
Yeah,
like that's something
that's
I'm good
his
at,
thing.
so when I started playing Ruin, I got overwhelmed. Steelwool Studios gave us a game where there's illusions everywhere, an AR world and the real world, and there was just so much to look at that I didn't even know where to start.
Yeah, like,
so
good
I
God,
decided
so
instead
much
to take a
stuff.
step back and look at the story they're trying to tell us. On a very basic level, Ruin is about a little girl who breaks into an abandoned mall to try and find her friend that she swears is trapped in there.
Yeah, yada yada yada. It's all sister location. I know all this because in the ending he tells us to go right and stuff. And if you go left, you get a secret ending, kind of like in sister location. And in the end, there's a scooper ending and everything.
It turns out that he wasn't trapped at all, and she was tricked. When I thought about the game like that, I started to notice something. This isn't the first time we've heard this story. The Silver Eyes trilogy were the first ever FNAF books to be released, and on a very basic level, the first book is about a group of friends who go and explore a mall that was built on top of an old Freddy's Pizzeria. While they explore the old pizzeria, they have a run-in with William Afton, aka Springtrap. That sounds just like what happens in Security Breach.
Didn't this book come out like 7 years ago? How'd they do this?
Freddy's Pizzeria, and while exploring the pizzeria, we have a run-in with Springtrap. So if Security
That book
Breach
came
is
out
the
before
first
Pizza
book,
Sim.
what's the second book about? In the second book, The Twisted Ones, a tornado hit the town and the mall is now destroyed. We learned that the mall was set to be demolished, but because of the tornado, the demolition was put on pause. As I kept rereading this book, the connections to what we saw in Ruin kept piling up. The mall in the books was destroyed by a tornado. The mall in the games was destroyed by an earthquake. The mall in the books was set to be demolished, but was put on hold. In Ruin, we see a giant wrecking ball that started to demolish the building, but now just sits there. In Ruin,
it's just
Cassie's
kinda like
friend
there.
Gregory is calling out for help.
You have to find me. I'm trapped in the sinkhole under the raceway.
Following his call leads Cassie to a giant cave with glowing mushrooms, a big waterfall, and a facility full of carnival-themed
I didn't put
mascot
the
costumes. All of this
volume
stuff
down.
that probably felt very new and confusing
Talking presents slang for parents.
also happened in this book. Charlie swears that her missing brother Sammy is calling out to her. Following this call leads her to a giant cave with glowing mushrooms, a waterfall, and a facility with a bunch of carnival-themed mascot costumes.
What the
Charlie
hell?
swears that her missing brother is behind a door covered in concrete. Cassie swears
Why?
that Gregory is behind a door covered in concrete. And both
What?
in this book and the game, it ends up being a trap. But right before Cassie and Charlie get attacked, an animatronic comes in and saves them. In Ruin, Roxy came in and tackled the animatronic. In the book, Foxy came in and tackled the
Let's go, my
animatronic,
boy.
along with the other OG animatronics.
Yeah.
Even the fate of both Charlie and Cassie is left a mystery at the end. The Twisted Ones literally ends with it looking like Charlie died, but then they hint that she might have survived, just like Ruin. The elevator falls, and then after the
Just
credits,
like
we
Ruin.
hear
Everything's
this.
just like Ruin.
Scott isn't just taking ideas from these books, he's taking the stories themselves and using them as heavy inspiration for the games. If we looked at these books to try and predict what would happen in Ruin, we would have been almost 100% correct. So if the first book is Security Breach and the second book is Ruin, what's the third book about? Well, those carnival-themed mascot costumes weren't first introduced in the Tales books, they were introduced in the Twisted ones to foreshadow what was to come in the fourth closet. When we visit
Okay.
Circus Baby's Pizza World, a carnival-themed restaurant.
Help
We
Wanted
also
to
visit
is
the
sister
book's version of
location.
the sister location bunker and meet all of the Funtime animatronics. And if this pattern continues,
Help
that
Wanted
would
2.
mean Help Wanted 2 would be
Yeah.
the fourth closet. And where are we going in
The
Help
third
Wanted
closet,
2? The
eh.
sister location bunker to meet the Funtime animatronics.
I
If
told you,
Ruin taught
yeah.
me
Well, you told me.
anything, to look to these books to figure out what's going to happen next. So I would
Okay.
bet money that we're also going to see Circus Baby's Pizza World and Help Wanted 2.
God, I
Need more
hope.
proof? While searching through the game files of Ruin, Maz on Twitter
Oh,
found
yeah.
this note that Steel will
I watched
in the old
Rytost's
version of
recent
the movie
theory.
Chase area. Quote, something cool that maybe foreshadows Carnival, pending J-Top's thoughts. We definitely
Carnival.
don't visit a carnival at the end of Ruin, so we must be visiting this carnival in Help Wanted 2. In the epilogue,
I think it's gonna be after Help Wanted 2.
The main characters were hanging out at a
Balloon
carnival
Circus.
before heading to the Pizzaplex. One of the levels in Security Breach Fury's Rage, the last
Bro.
game Scott made before Security Breach released, features posters advertising a circus with a carnival happening in the background. We also have the leaked Balloon Circus characters that have yet to be explained. The
Yeah.
connections go on and on. So I'm convinced that Circus Baby's Pizza World is where we're going next. But the
100%.
question is why? Well, in the fourth closet,
Because we feel
this
like
was
it.
all leading up to Circus Baby being revealed as the big bad. In the Silver Eyes trilogy, Henry created hyper-realistic robot versions of Charlie after her death, one for
Yep.
each stage of her life. He kept
Yeah.
each Charlie bot in different closets in his house. But
John.
when he got to the
I
fourth
see
Charlie
it up
bot,
there.
he started having regrets about what he was doing, and in a fit of grief and rage, poured his agony into the robot. After Henry
The
left
mimic.
the robot behind, Afton came in and stole it, turning it into what we now know as Baby. Baby was the fourth Charlie bot, hence the title of the book, The Fourth Closet. If this sounds familiar, I've actually talked about this before. Last year,
Yeah.
I pointed out the Nightmarion plushies and imagery throughout Security Breach. Charlie possesses the puppet, so Nightmarion would be the metaphorical evil/dark version of Charlie. While playing through Ruin, I noticed that the Nightmarion plushies were back.
Yeah, they are.
Stewall. They put this
Literally.
in the game to just taunt me. But it
Exactly. When I was playing through and I got to that part, I was like, "Ugh. Oh my god, it's John. He's gonna get his mind blown." Holy crap, man. Nightmarion! FNAF. Oh my god, FNAF is going bonkers.
until I started exploring off-stream that I noticed they aren't just back, they're once again hidden throughout the game, but most notably in one specific place.
Where?
During the part of the game where the mimic is chasing you, you enter this hallway
Where we
leading up
wouldn't
to an
see it.
elevator, and tucked behind some boxes in the corner is a Nightmarion plushie. I
Holy
don't know if this is
smokes.
Fuel just messing with me, but putting one of those plushies in the most lore-heavy part of the game feels intentional. You know
Yeah,
what else
it's gotta
feels
be.
intentional? Throughout the game, you can
Technically,
collect different
okay, hold on. Technically, everything in this game is intentional because it was placed there. So actually, John, I am proving you
the
wrong.
game feels intentional. You know what else feels intentional? Throughout the game, you can collect different plushies. Every plushie features a character we see at the Pizzaplex.
Yeah, except for Plush Baby.
Two, a baby plushie and a Nightmarion plushie. Baby
Yeah.
and the evil version of Charlie.
And
In
there's
the
a secret
fourth
Plush
closet,
Baby Easter egg room.
Baby and evil version of Charlie was revealed as the big bad.
Holy
There's also
smokes.
so many weird connections to Baby in this game. There's this room full of half scrap baby plushies with green eyes and half baby plushies with blue eyes. Baby is synonymous with ice cream, and the Fredbear cutout we see in one of the endings features him holding an ice cream in both his hands. Also,
Yeah.
in that ending, we see everyone sitting on a hill enjoying an ice cream. Ruin itself also plays just like Sister Location. In Sister Location, you never know if you should trust Baby. In Ruin, you never know if you should trust Gregory. Both games
yeah.
end with them telling us to go left or right,
Go forward and left. Keep going.
Go right. Keep going.
and
Keep
both
going.
games feature an ending with a scooper. The multiple connections to
Uh-huh.
Carnival, Baby, and Nightmarion seem to tell us that some version of what happened in the fourth closet is going to happen in the games. And in the fourth closet, Baby reveals that she was the one pretending to be Charlie's brother calling out for help. Baby also reveals that she wants to steal Charlie's identity so she can look more human. This is just like
Oh,
the ending
God.
of the Fazbear Frights books. Eleanor, who I think is the book's parallel to Baby, was revealed as the big bad, and her main thing is stealing people's identities by ripping off their limbs. This plot point of a robot
God.
wanting to steal a human's identity is something we see over and over again in the Frights and Tales books. Story after story, Scott has been hammering this idea of a robot wanting to look more human into our heads. So both
Sister
in the
Location does
Silver
that
Eyes
too with
trilogy and the
Ennard. I
Fazbear
get it,
Frights
I
books,
get it,
we
I
have
get
a
it.
version of Baby being revealed as the big bad, with their main thing being they want to steal someone's identity. But at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
Ruin,
yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah. I
bad
got
is
you, I got
revealed
you.
to be- By now, I'm sure you've heard of the Mimic, an endoskeleton
The
first introduced in the
Mimic.
Tales books that was built to mimic whatever it sees. Here's a quick summary of the Mimic story from the Tales books. A guy named Edwin,
I'll
who
hear it
works
again,
as an
'cause why
engineer
not?
for Fazbear Entertainment,
I'm working on,
built
like, a
this
Mimic Theory.
endoskeleton for his son to keep him occupied while he works. This
Yeah.
endoskeleton was programmed to mimic anything it sees, so it
Look at that
started
render,
mimicking
it's just like,
Edwin's son.
ah.
After Edwin's son died tragically, the endoskeleton was still mimicking Edwin's son.
Oh,
So in a
ice
fit of grief
cream.
and rage, Edwin beat up the endoskeleton, pouring his
Uh.
agony into it. But the mimic started mimicking what Edwin did to it, brutally killing anyone it came into
Ow.
contact with. The main way
Ow.
to do this is by
I hurt my knuckle on my headset. Ow, that hurt.
putting on random mascot costumes and then ripping off people's limbs. This
Uh-huh.
endoskeleton was still mimicking Edwin's kid,
Wow,
but it was
ice
also
cream.
murdering people at the same time.
From
so
dead
it was
people.
basically an evil robot version of Edwin's kid. If you've watched any of my recent theories, you know that actually this story is a parallel to Henry's story from the Silver Eyes trilogy.
Yeah, 100%.
And after figuring out that Scott
No
is
doubt.
using the Silver Eyes trilogy as heavy inspiration for the games, that belief has only been strengthened. In the Silver Eyes, Henry built a robot that mimics his daughter Charlie. Henry then
Mimic.
poured his agony into the robot and left it behind, only
Yeah.
for William to steal it and turn it into what we
I
now
love
know
that
as
image.
Baby. Baby was now an evil robot version of Henry's kid, just like the Mimic. And I think a very similar version of this story happened in the games as well. I think
Oof.
Henry built this endoskeleton
Really?
to mimic his daughter Charlie, but after Charlie's death, Henry left it behind, only for
Left
Afton to
behind.
steal it and use it to help build what we now know as Baby. The main goal of Eleanor and Baby in the Silver Eyes trilogy was to look more human by stealing someone's identity. And I
Yeah.
think this endoskeleton that was built to mimic Charlie also wants the same thing. It was built to mimic Charlie, but it doesn't look human.
Maybe it
Just
made
like
the mascot
robot wanting to
costumes
be
for
human
that.
Stories Scott's been telling us for years now, it wants to be human. It wants to steal Cassie's identity. Need more
Oh!
proof? Throughout Ruin, you can find these
Oh,
comics
God.
that Cassie reveals were drawn by Gregory. These
Yep.
comics tell us that most of the endings that happened in Security Breach were not real and were just made up in Gregory's head, including the Burn Trap ending. During the Burn
Yeah,
Trap
which really
ending of
confused
Security
me.
Breach, we see that Vanny
That's why
was
I'm making.
keeping
Okay, that's why I'm making a theory. That's one of the big points in my endings theory. So subscribe and turn on notifications to see when that
down
happens.
there helping to bring Afton back to life. We
Yeah.
see that Afton was being kept in a charging pod with a circular window on the front of it. In Security
Yeah.
Breach Fury's Rage, Vanny's boss battle takes
Fury's
place
Rage,
in a
bro.
factory full of animatronic limbs and torsos, almost like Vanny is trying to rebuild something. And that thing
Afton.
that she's trying to rebuild
Oh!
is also being kept in a similar pod to Burn Trap. But it's not
Holy
Burn
crap.
Trap, it's Eleanor, a version of Baby that's known
Baby.
for ripping off people's limbs and stealing their identity, just like the Mimic rips off people's limbs and I think wants to steal Cassie's identity. But how could this endo be Baby if she was scooped in Sister Location and burned in FNAF 6?
Yeah, like,
Well,
she's
in the
freaking
Tales
dead.
books, it's revealed that the Mimic loves putting on costumes, just like you see in Ruin. But there's one
Jester
specific
costume, right?
costume that's been mentioned multiple times now.
Was
a
a jester.
costume,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is what Baby is. She's dressed up just like a jester.
She's
But
a
the
clown,
most recent time
literally.
this jester costume was brought up, it was revealed that it isn't just a normal costume, it's a Springlock suit. A jester Springlock
What?
costume that this Mimic endoskeleton has put on and
Sister
walked
Location
around in.
94.
Charlie describes Springlock suits in the Silver Eyes by saying, quote, "I think they were costumes. Sometimes people wore them, and sometimes my father put them onto the robots. Springlock suits can be put onto endoskeletons." And
Yeah.
if this book is really hinting that Baby is a Springlock suit, that would line up with what we see at the end of Ruin. This is Baby's baby's endoskeleton, just without all the wires and the shell that comes with the Springlock suit. The baby's Springlock suit would essentially be put onto this endoskeleton with the same eyes, teeth, and head shape as baby. I think people forget that in Night 4 of Sister Location, baby puts us inside a Springlock suit that has face plates, just like the Fun Times. So the idea that baby could be a Springlock suit isn't too far-fetched.
Well, let's look at her. Like, that looks like a freaking robot. I don't think that's a Springlock suit. It's gonna be a Springlock. Like you can't wear that. You cannot wear that. Like, all the fingers and everything. It's too robotic. We saw in the Sister Location trailer. Like, her hands, it's too robotic. You can't wear that. And again, with all the circuits inside and everything, it looks different from Spring Bonnie. Spring Bonnie is a literal suit. This is literal, like, actual metals and stuff. You can't wear that, I don't think.
But even then, Baby got burned in FNAF 6. How could her endoskeleton still be around? Well,
because it's FNAF, screw it.
Baby is the main character, but we never actually see her until Night 5, when she's about to get scooped. She's obviously not been scooped yet because she still has all of her wires and is in perfect condition. If she was already scooped, those wires would be gone, and her shell would be dismantled like we see with the other animatronics in the scooping room. But look at the way she's posed in this scene. She almost looks like
Freddy.
Oh, there's nothing to hold her up. She's also
Among Us!
Also missing her eyes and teeth. She's missing her endoskeleton. She's posed like that because she's in suit mode. But if this endoskeleton wasn't in Baby during Sister Location, where was it? Well, one notable trait about the Mimic is that it messes with technology. Essentially, wherever it goes, it can turn off lights and intercept radio signals, like it does to lure Cassie in Ruin. In Sister Location, it's our job to check on the animatronics and see if they're on stage. With Ballora and Foxy, even if they're not behind the glass, we can still see their stages. But when we get to Baby's room and we turn on the lights, we see nothing. Also, as the nights go on, Baby's room is the only room where the controlled shocks just straight up stop working.
Oh, Circus Baby, we aren't here to play hide and seek. Let's encourage Baby to come out of hiding with a controlled shock.
I think it's possible that the Mimic Endo that was once in Baby is now being held in this room, the Circus Gallery. Need more proof? It's a pretty popular theory at this point that the pizzeria Henry uses in FNAF 6 was also Fredbear's family diner. People say this because the secret images of the alleyway in FNAF 6
it looks like where Charlie died.
Charlie was killed. Also, the gameplay of FNAF 6 is literally about upgrading an old pizzeria. And
so basically, this is Fredbear's family diner, rebuilt into the FNAF 6 restaurant, and that was destroyed, and on top of that is now a mall that is destroyed, and there's probably going to be something in that. What is with FNAF and doing this, bro? I feel like Help Wanted 2 or the next game, Balloon Circus or whatever, I don't freaking know, is going to take place like on top of it's going to take place on top of the Pizzaplex. Like 4 stories.
Killed. Also, the gameplay of FNAF 6 is literally about upgrading an old pizzeria and turning it into what we see in Security Breach. Now, in Ruin, we see a cutout of Fredbear directly under the FNAF 6 pizzeria, which only strengthens the theory that they're the same building. Henry
it makes more sense.
Used and upgraded the building he already owns. Why is this important, you ask? Because on the map in Sister Location, we can see Fredbear's family diner connected right to Baby's room.
Oh my god! That's Fredbear's family diner like in FNAF 4. It's kind of the Circus Gallery with the Mimic and the...
Circus Gallery, the same room that I believe the Mimic was being held in. This explains why we find the Mimic trapped in this specific area. It was being held in this part of the Sister Location bunker, forced to wander between Fredbear's and Baby's room. I think this room specifically was trying to remind us that Scrap Baby and the original Baby are 2 separate things. Scrap Baby was Elizabeth with green eyes. The tangle of wires and the shell that belonged to the Springlock costume itself that eventually got scooped and turned into Scrap Baby. But the robot that was inside side baby, the mimic endo, is its own thing, separate from Elizabeth, represented by the blue eyes. I think it's important to say that this endo has obviously swapped out a lot of its parts over time, and can also shapeshift to literally fit itself into any costume in the books. So if some physical features and the scale of the mimic don't 100% match, the endo can literally shapeshift. I don't know what to tell you. So who made these mascot costumes? Well, like I said before,
The mimic,
these
right?
mascot costumes were first introduced in the Twisted Ones to foreshadow Circus Baby's Pizza World. We even get a description that sounds just like one of the costumes we see in Ruin. One of the costumes was, quote, a massive contorted bird-like creature with a wide curved beak.
Holy
These costumes
crap.
were meant to foreshadow Circus Babies, and Circus Babies was definitely a William Afton thing, so they could be made by William. I mean, the Mushroom Cave was revealed to be William's secret bunker in the Twisted Ones, so that would make sense. But in the fourth closet, Charlie finds a book in Henry's workshop. This book was about the history of the traveling carnival and of the circus. So we know that Henry also had a fascination with the circus as well. It was also revealed that the cave and facility where the costumes were found was built under Henry's house. So it's also possible that these costumes were some of Henry's first creations. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think Help Wanted 2 is going to pick up right where we left off in Ruin. I mean, the ending of Ruin has an elevator falling to the ground.
Yeah,
The
just
trailer
like
for Help
Sister
Wanted 2
Location
has
and
the Sister Location
yeah.
elevator falling to the ground. I think we already saw in Ruin that the digital world and the real world are merging, and Cassie is struggling to know what's real and what's not. I think
Me too,
this
bro.
is gonna be
I
the
don't
end
even
of
know.
Help Wanted 2, along with visiting the Sister Location bunker and Circus Baby's Pizza World. I know a lot of you probably think I'm insane, and there's going to be a lot of angry tweets, but I'm not taking any chances anymore. We
I think
live in
you're
a
genius.
world where Scott and Steelwool took almost every single ending in Security Breach, even the fully animated one,
And
said
scrapped it.
none of that was real. So anything is possible, and I'm trusting these books to tell me what's going to happen next. And I guess we'll just have to see later this year if I'm onto something or if I'm dead wrong. There's still a ton of things to talk about in this game, like who is Cassie's dad and what's the deal with the scooper. So look forward to more theories in the future. Please remember that this was just a theory. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions.
That's what I'm doing.
Everything I say
That's
is
what
true,
I'm doing.
And I hope you enjoyed. See you at the circus.
I will see you at the circus. God. For me, the really big wow, holy crap part was the whole thing with the mimic, with the Circus Baby when she was missing her eyes and teeth. That was bonkers. Speechless. John is leaving me speechless. I don't know how he does this. God. So what I took out of that is that the mimic is the endoskeleton of Circus Baby, and Circus Baby and Scrap Baby are different things. Scrap Baby's Elizabeth. Circus Baby is the mimic. Henry probably built the mascot costumes. I don't know, there's so much in that theory. That's all I really have to say. Theory was a W theory. I liked it. Stay tuned for my theories. Go watch them. They're not 17 minutes. That was great though. So yeah, John, you did it again. What the hell? Thank you all so much for watching. This was fun. With that, I will see you in the next one. Just like the video as much as humanly possible. Toodaloo.